Are you ready to dive into the wild and rugged world of the American frontier, where history, legend, and humanity collide? From outlaws to unsung heroes, discover the stories that shaped the Wild West. Seth Kinman. He was well known for his hunting abilities. One day, he met President Andrew Johnson. He gave the president a special gift. The gift was a chair made from elk horns and skin. The chair looked very rustic and impressive. President Johnson was pleased with the gift. He was a happy man with a loving family. But President Johnson's life changed suddenly. A warrior from the Crow tribe killed his wife. He was filled with great sadness and anger. He swore to take revenge on the Crow tribe. Johnson started a dark journey to punish them. He wanted to make them pay for what they did. He became consumed by his desire for revenge. He spent years tracking down the Crow tribe. During this time, he became known as the Liver Eater. This was because of his brutal practices. He would kill, scalp, and eat the liver of his enemies. He believed that by doing so, he would gain strength and power. His actions became legendary in the Wild West. People feared him and avoided him. But Johnson didn't care. His desire for revenge drove him. He continued his quest for justice, no matter the cost. His story became a cautionary tale told around campfires. It was a reminder of the dangers of unchecked anger and revenge. Prepare yourself for some sexy girls who were wanted in another way. Arizona and other states profited from prostitution through the licensing of brothels, taxation, and fines. This source of income was used for local development and the funding of public projects. Prostitution in the 19th century, despite being legalized, faced prejudice. The brothel girls, also known as sex workers, were often marginalized and discriminated against. They were seen as outcasts, and their profession was viewed as immoral. However, prostitution remained a thriving industry in the Wild West. Many brothels were established, and they became an integral part of the local economy. The income generated from prostitution helped to fund public projects such as roads, schools, and hospitals. Despite its economic benefits, prostitution remained a contentious issue. Many people viewed it as a necessary evil, while others saw it as a threat to moral values. The debate surrounding prostitution continued to rage on, with no clear resolution in sight. Those brothel girls, is it really that hot in here, or is it just me? That takes us to the long, big obstacle. You filthy animal, not that. We talk about Big Tex was an American cowboy who became famous, but not just for his cowboy skills. His impressive height, over 2 meters and 10 centimeters, caught the attention wherever he went. People would stare in awe as he walked by, his towering frame making him a giant among men. And soon, the title of the tallest cowboy in Texas quickly spread. Rex Manson became known as the Giant Cowboy, and his fame soon reached far and wide. He began to be invited to participate in parades and special events, where he would ride his horse, dressed in his characteristic cowboy hat and boots. His presence was always a special attraction. People would come from all over to see the tallest cowboy in Texas. Rex Manson's height was a blessing, and he used it to his advantage, becoming a beloved figure in the world of rodeos and cowboy events. He was a true giant, and his legacy lives on in the hearts of all who knew him. His story reminds that being different is not a weakness, but a strength, and that anyone can achieve greatness with hard work and determination. He was a cowboy, a giant, and a legend, and his memory will continue to inspire future generations. Now you will meet a woman that will make you shiver. Annie Oakley was a woman ahead of her time, a true pioneer in every sense of the word. With her extraordinary skill with a gun, she was not content with her own success alone. She believed in the empowerment of women through the learning of defense and shooting skills. So, she dedicated part of her life to teaching women to shoot, encouraging them to take control of their own lives. Annie Oakley's passion for shooting and her commitment to empowering women made her a beloved figure in America. She was a true icon, a woman who broke down barriers and paved the way for future generations. Annie Oakley's legacy continues to inspire women today, reminding them that they too can achieve greatness with hard work and determination. She was a true legend, a woman who will always be remembered as one of America's greatest heroes. Annie Oakley's story is a testament to the power of women, a reminder that they are capable of achieving greatness in any field they choose. She was a woman of courage, a woman of conviction, and a woman who will always be remembered as a true American legend. The saloon doors swung open, revealing a rugged figure whose shadow carried the weight of planes, soldiers, and whispered legends. There is only one man we may describe here. Buffalo Bill's fame grew exponentially when he created his troupe of Native American and cowboy shows, known as Buffalo Bill's Wild West. The shows were a massive hit, and he took his troupe on a grand tour through the United States and Europe. Crowds went wild wherever he performed, and his shows became the talk of the town. In London in 1887, for example, more than 2 million people watched the spectacle, making it one of the most watched shows of its time. Buffalo Bill was the first attraction to take the Wild West outside the borders of the United States, traveling the world and presenting the culture of Native Americans, cowboys, and outlaws. The show featured a wide variety of attractions, including reenactments of battles, horse races, pistol shootouts, and even a parade with over many people. The shows recreated famous battles of the Wild West, such as the Battle of Little Bighorn and the attack on the stagecoach by bandits. Buffalo Bill's Wild West was a true spectacle, a celebration of the American West and its rich history. It was a show that captivated audiences worldwide, and its legacy continues to live on today. Buffalo Bill's impact on popular culture cannot be overstated, and his shows remain an important part of American history. He was a true showman, a master of entertainment, and a champion of the American West. His shows were a testament to his passion for the Wild West and his dedication to preserving its history and culture. Buffalo Bill's Wild West was more than just a show. It was an experience that transported audiences to a bygone era. It was a chance to see the Wild West come alive with its rugged cowboys, fearless Native Americans, and daring outlaws. The show was a true spectacle with its elaborate sets, stunning costumes, and heart-pumping action. It was a show that left audiences on the edge of their seats, cheering for more. And more they got as Buffalo Bill's Wild West toured the world, entertaining millions and cementing its place in history. The show was a true phenomenon, a cultural touchstone that continues to inspire and entertain audiences to this day. This is a man faster than a lie and tougher than the truth. If that sounds impossible, you haven't met him yet. Bass Reeves, the first black deputy marshal of the United States west of the Mississippi River. Reeves was appointed federal deputy marshal by Judge Isaac Parker, known as the Hangman of the West. Reeves excelled in his role, making over many arrests during his career. Additionally, he executed 14 outlaws in self-defense. Reeves preferred to bring criminals in alive, whenever possible, to face the law's judgment. He was a true lawman with a strong sense of justice and a commitment to upholding the law. Reeves' bravery and skill earned him a reputation as one of the toughest and most effective lawmen in the Wild West. He was a legend in his own time, and his legacy continues to inspire people. To this day, one of the most common activities of the Wild West was hunting, specifically hunting for big game like bears and cougars. Let's talk about the hunters who ventured into the Four Peaks territory in Arizona. The region was known for its abundance of wildlife, including bears and even cougars. These hunters required great courage and skill to handle the dangers they encountered along the way. They had to be prepared to face the unexpected and to use their wits and their skills to survive. The Four Peaks territory was a challenging and unforgiving environment, but it was also a place of great beauty and wonder. The hunters who ventured there were drawn by the thrill of the hunt and the opportunity to test their skills against the wild. They were a hardy and resourceful bunch, and they played an important role in the development of the American West. The hunters of the Wild West were a special breed, men and women who lived by their own rules and faced danger head-on. They say he can shoot the flame off a candle at 20 paces. Do you know who this is? A drink, a game of cards, and for everyone to keep their chairs facing me this time. Wild Bill was known for his impressive skills with a gun, which he carried with him at all times. He was a man of many talents, working as a buffalo hunter, a stagecoach guard, and even as a gunslinger. His reputation as a skilled shooter and a fearless lawman spread far and wide, earning him a place in the annals of Wild West history. Wild Bill's legend has endured for generations, inspiring countless stories, films, and books. He remains one of the most fascinating figures of the American Wild West, a true icon of the frontier era. In another part of the Wild West, a different legend was born. Billy the Kid, a notorious outlaw, roamed the New Mexico territory, leaving a trail of excitement and intrigue wherever he went. This image of Billy the Kid is one of only 2 confirmed photographs that exist of the legendary outlaw. It was taken in the year 1877, showing Billy playing cards with some of his companions in the New Mexico territory. This brutal cowboy had 21 kills under his belt when he wasn't even old enough for the saloons. Billy the Kid, the name that echoed through the Wild West, was a young legend whose life was as wild as the land he roamed. Known for his quick escapes and countless crimes, Billy became an infamous figure whose actions sparked fear and fascination. But it wasn't just his gunfights that made him a legend. It was his audacity, his spirit of rebellion that turned him into an icon. In 1881, his final showdown with Sheriff Pat Garrett sealed his place in history, as his stance with weapons showed his commitment to living on the edge. Yet there was another side to this notorious outlaw. This rare image showing Billy the Kid playing cards reveals a quieter, more relaxed side of the man who was usually in the middle of a gunfight or escape. This photograph is a snapshot of the calm before the storm, offering a glimpse into his life beyond the chaos. But don't be fooled. Beneath the calm demeanor, Billy was always a ticking time bomb, ready to ignite at the slightest provocation. Now imagine the tension that must have been felt in that room. Let's dive deeper into the Wild West, where every man had a story and every corner hid danger. Ready for more? The rugged mountains of the American West weren't just home to outlaws and cowboys. They were also inhabited by hunters and explorers who thrived in the most unforgiving environments. These mountain men were known for their extraordinary skills in hunting and survival, navigating treacherous terrains with unmatched expertise. This particular photo of a mountain man transports us back in time, giving us a glimpse into an era when life was far more difficult and perilous. The harsh realities of surviving in the Wild West shaped the lives of those who lived there, where every day was a battle for survival. Life in the American Wild West was an entirely different world, far removed from our modern comforts and conveniences. In fact, it was often the smallest things that made the biggest impact, like the story of a very special cow. This cow became the unlikely heroine of the story, taking on the important role of transporting 7 children to school every day. Can you even imagine the sight? A cow leading children to their lessons, a daily routine that spoke volumes about the resilience and creativity of those living in such a challenging environment. Ever wondered what it would be like to go to school on the back of a cow? Let's think about it for a moment and step into that world where the extraordinary was often woven into the fabric of every day. As the Comanches fought to defend their lands, another powerful figure was making his mark in the annals of Wild West history. One of the most iconic leaders of the American Wild West was Quanah Parker, born in 1845. He became the last chief of the Comanches during the 19th century, a period marked by violent conflict between Native American tribes and the United States Army, which was eager to expand its territory and control the indigenous lands. Quanah Parker was born to a Comanche mother and a white father, which made his story unique and complex. After his mother, Cynthia Ann Parker, was captured by the Comanches when she was a child, she married a Comanche chief, and Quanah was born into a world of fierce warriors and proud traditions. Under Quanah's leadership, the Comanches fiercely resisted the U.S. Army's efforts to conquer their land, engaging in a number of battles throughout the 1860s and 1870s. Parker's tactical brilliance and deep knowledge of the land made him an outstanding leader in the defense of the Comanche way of life. The Comanches were known for their skill and bravery in desert warfare, becoming one of the most formidable forces Native Americans had to offer. Despite their fierce resistance, the Comanches were eventually forced to surrender in 1875. Quanah Parker, however, became a bridge between the old ways of his people and the new world that was emerging. In the years after the surrender, he transitioned into a prominent leader within the Indian Territory and worked to help his people adapt to the changes brought on by American expansion. He passed away in 1911, but his legacy remains a testament to the strength. Next, we have Cow Claw, the Alaskan warrior, a woman whose fierce spirit tamed the harsh wilderness of Alaska. One such story is that of a remarkable indigenous woman from Alaska known as Cow Claw. In 1906, she donned her potlatch dance attire for a traditional ceremony that was rich in symbolism and cultural significance. The potlatch ceremony, which has deep roots in the cultures of the indigenous peoples of the Pacific Northwest, was a time for communities to come together, celebrate, and pass down traditions. Cow Claw, like many others before and after her, participated in the potlatch with a sense of pride and duty to her people. During the ceremony, she and other members of the community would sing, dance, and share stories that carried the essence of their way of life. These traditions were not just performances. They were vital to preserving their history, values, and spiritual beliefs. For those who took part in these ceremonies, the potlatch represented much more than a cultural gathering. It was a living connection to their ancestors, a time to honor their past, and an opportunity to pass down knowledge and wisdom to future generations. The dance attire worn by Cow Claw was more than just clothing. It was a symbol of her identity, her heritage, and her place within the greater narrative of her people. Next, we step into the lives of two sisters who built a home from the earth itself, proving the strength of the pioneer spirit. Many families moved to the region, seeking a new life in the expansive, rugged landscapes of the West. Among these pioneers were sisters who faced the harsh realities of frontier life together. In Custer County, Nebraska, they built a sod house, a testament to their resilience and resourcefulness. These houses, constructed from blocks of compacted earth and covered with grass, were not just homes, but a reflection of the necessity to adapt to the environment. Sod houses, or soddies, were an essential part of homesteading in the Great Plains, providing shelter from the extreme weather conditions. The sisters' decision to build one symbolized the frontier spirit, working with what nature provided to carve out a life in the wilderness. As we consider the challenges these families faced, from the scorching summer heat to the freezing winters, the story of these sisters highlights the grit required to survive in such an unforgiving place. Their home, though modest, was a foundation for building a new life in a land that offered both hope and hardship in equal measure. As families like the sisters in Custer County built homes from the earth, another figure emerged in the Wild West whose legacy was defined by violence and a ruthless pursuit of survival. James Miller, known as Killing Jim or Killer Miller, became infamous for his cold demeanor and deadly precision. Involved in numerous confrontations and shootouts, Miller earned a fearsome reputation as a hired gunman, someone whose work often involved taking lives for the right price. But his criminal exploits didn't end with being a gunman. Miller also participated in bank and train robberies, becoming one of the most notorious figures of the Wild West. His turbulent life was marked by constant danger, betrayal, and an insatiable need for power, with little regard for the lives of others. Despite his notorious reputation, James Miller's story would eventually come to a violent end. He was captured and executed for his crimes, his life a reminder of the dark side of the Wild West, where lawlessness and brutality were ever present. His name still lives on as a symbol of the darker side of frontier justice, a life marked by violence, and a cautionary tale of the cost of living by the gun. As figures like James Miller carved their names through violence and bloodshed, another side of the Wild West emerged, a side driven by the pursuit of opportunity, but fraught with its own hardships. The Homestead Act, enacted in 1862, provided a glimmer of hope for many families seeking a new life in the West. This act allowed American citizens to claim up to 160 acres of public land, with the requirement that they build a residence and cultivate the land for at least 5 years. For many, this was a chance to escape poverty, to forge a new future, and to plant roots in a land of promise. Nebraska, with its vast plains, became a destination for these hopeful settlers. However, the challenges they faced were immense. Establishing farms, building homes, and creating a livelihood required an unyielding strength of character. These families had to endure extreme weather conditions, from scorching summer heat to bone-chilling winters. The land, though abundant, was often difficult to farm, and the resources needed to survive were scarce. Loneliness was another cruel companion. Isolated from other settlements, many families spent long stretches of time without contact with others, struggling not just with the physical demands of frontier life, but with the emotional toll of solitude. Yet, despite these obstacles, many persevered. The story of the Homestead Act is a tale of resilience, of families who sought better lives and worked tirelessly to build them, despite the harsh realities of the American frontier. As settlers worked to build their homes, others in the Wild West were looking for their own kind of opportunity, often through more daring and dangerous means. Pearl Hart, a bold and fearless woman, planned and carried out a daring stagecoach robbery in Arizona. Disguised in men's clothing, she showed incredible courage and audacity as she surprised everyone with her boldness. The robbery quickly gained attention, making her one of the most well-known outlaws of her time. Her actions not only shocked the people around her, but also drew the attention of both the authorities and the media, making her a figure of intrigue in the lawless landscape of the West. As Pearl Hart made her mark with audacity, another family in the Wild West left an unforgettable legacy, not through daring robberies, but through their strong presence in a turbulent time. The Hatfield family was a typical Wild West family known for their courage and resilience. They became infamous through their involvement in the Hatfield-McCoy feud, a long-running conflict between two families in the Appalachian region. But what made the Hatfields stand out was the photograph taken in 1888, where the family posed together, displaying their strength and unity. This photograph has become a window into the history of the Wild West, giving us a glimpse into the lives of a family who, like many others, faced the harsh realities of the time. To this day, the Hatfield photograph remains a powerful symbol of the legacy and drama that defined the Wild West. As Pearl Hart made her mark with audacity, another family in the Wild West left an unforgettable legacy, not through daring robberies, but through their strong presence in a turbulent time. The Hatfield family was a typical Wild West family known for their courage and resilience. They became infamous through their involvement in the Hatfield-McCoy feud, a long-running conflict between two families in the Appalachian region. But what made the Hatfields stand out was the photograph taken in 1888, where the family posed together, displaying their strength and unity. This photograph has become a window into the history of the Wild West, giving us a glimpse into the lives of a family who, like many others, faced the harsh realities of the time. To this day, the Hatfield photograph remains a powerful symbol of the legacy and drama that defined the Wild West. The Hatfield photograph not only captured the strength of the family, but also the deep-rooted tensions and pride that characterized life in the Wild West. In it, we see a group of individuals bound by blood, standing tall against the struggles of the time. The image serves as a reminder of the complex dynamics that shaped the American frontier, where every family had their own story, often intertwined with conflict and survival. Though the Hatfields are most remembered for their feud with the McCoys, this photograph allows us to understand them beyond the violence, offering a snapshot of a time when the Wild West was both a battleground and a birthplace for legacies that would last for generations. Imagine working the land day after day, only for a sandstorm to sweep in and remind you how little control you really have. Life in Midland, Texas wasn't for the faint of heart. In the Wild West, especially for farmers, every day was a battle against adversity. They faced extreme weather conditions, from scorching heat to freezing cold, and struggled to cultivate arid, infertile land. In 1894, Midland, Texas became the site of a frightening sandstorm that swept through the region, affecting both the farmlands and the lives of the farmers. The sandstorm was a stark reminder of nature's power, devastating the land and leaving many farmers struggling to rebuild. It showed how fragile life could be in the West, where survival often depended not only on human strength, but on the forces of nature that could strike without warning. This event in 1890-04 underscored the hardships that families faced, highlighting the resilience required to thrive in such an unforgiving environment. Let's move to a darker chapter in the history of the Wild West, where violence and defiance led to a notorious gang that terrorized the region. The Newsbuck Gang was a group made up mainly of young African Americans and indigenous people who united to challenge the established order of the Wild West. They left a trail of violence and crime, including thefts and kidnappings, as they moved through various communities. Their actions instilled fear, and they quickly became targets of both local and federal authorities. After a series of violent confrontations with the law and other criminals, the gang's reign of terror came to an end. They were eventually captured, and many members of the gang were sentenced to hang. Their story serves as a reminder of the harsh realities of frontier justice, where lawlessness and violence often reigned, and even those who sought to defy the system faced its brutal consequences. The Newsbuck Gang's violent path was a reflection of the chaos that sometimes defined the Wild West, where lawlessness and rebellion could quickly spiral out of control. With each crime, their notoriety grew, but so did the determination of lawmen and citizens to stop them. After their capture, the gang's story became a cautionary tale, showing how quickly lives could be consumed by violence and how fragile the line between justice and revenge could be in such a turbulent time. Their fate serves as a stark reminder of the tough, unforgiving nature of the frontier. Let's look closely at the hotel girls now. Woman of Gold. The sex workers operating on the Alaska frontier were a diverse group, including women from various ethnic and national backgrounds. Many of these women arrived in Alaska seeking opportunities and a better life, much like the men who flooded the region during the gold rush. Though their work was often seen through a lens of shame, many of these women found ways to carve out new lives for themselves in the harsh environment. Some became successful entrepreneurs, investing their earnings in local businesses such as hotels, restaurants, and saloons. These women were able to use their business ventures to shift their roles in society, gaining independence and even wealth. Their stories are often overlooked, but they played a significant role in shaping the frontier economy, showing the resilience and resourcefulness required to survive in a rapidly changing and unforgiving landscape. Shifting focus to another defining figure of the Wild West, we see the story of a leader whose courage and resilience became legendary. One of the most famous indigenous leaders in United States history was Geronimo. He became known for leading his tribe, the Apache, in numerous battles against American forces, fiercely fighting to protect his people and their land. For many years, Geronimo led attacks against American troops, refusing to surrender or give up his way of life. Geronimo became one of the greatest enemies of the United States Army, a symbol of resistance and resilience in the face of colonization. His leadership and courage made him a legendary figure in Native American history, and his legacy lives on as a reminder of the strength and determination of those who fought to preserve their way of life amidst the pressures of American expansion. His story is not just one of warfare, but of survival and leadership in a time when indigenous cultures were under siege. Geronimo's enduring fight highlighted the complexity of Native American resistance during the westward expansion, standing as a testament to the unyielding spirit of those who fought for their homeland. Moving towards the robbery's master. Turning to another notorious figure in the Wild West, we delve into the story of one of America's most infamous outlaws. Butch Cassidy, whose real name was Robert Leroy Parker, was born in 1866. He became famous for leading a group of outlaws known as the Hole-in-the-Wall Gang, which specialized in train and bank robberies. Cassidy's name became synonymous with crime in the West, but what truly made him stand out was his incredible ability to escape the law. A master of disguise and a brilliant strategist, Butch Cassidy was known for his elaborate plans and precise execution of robberies. His ability to evade capture for years made him a legend, and his daring escapades continued to captivate the public's imagination long after he disappeared from the scene. Cassidy's legacy remains one of the most famous in the history of Wild West outlaws, leaving behind stories of his cleverness, cunning, and unrelenting desire to outwit the law. Shifting from Butch Cassidy's legendary heists, let's now explore the story of a man whose skills made him a star of a different kind in the Wild West. Iron White Man, also known as an assumed Indian, became famous for his participation in Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. He was known for his extraordinary talent and skill, particularly with horses and his bow and arrow. His performances demonstrated the skill and precision that was highly respected in the Wild West, drawing admiration from audiences everywhere. With each thrilling performance, he showcased the abilities that defined the frontier lifestyle, attributes like bravery, precision, and the ability to survive in harsh conditions. As part of Buffalo Bill's famous show, Iron White Man helped bring the Wild West to life for people who had never seen the realities of frontier life. The show, which toured across the United States and even abroad, presented the drama, excitement, and romance of the American frontier to a captivated audience. Through his participation in these performances, Iron White Man was able to leave behind a lasting legacy. He wasn't just entertaining, but also educating people about the impressive skills of Native American cultures, from horseback riding to the mastery of the bow and arrow. His unique contribution to Buffalo Bill's Wild West show helped shape the popular perception of the Wild West as a place of adventure and excitement, even though the true life on the frontier was much harsher. Iron White Man's fame not only came from his talent, but also from the role he played in the larger narrative of the American West, which was often romanticized and mythologized by such performances. His story is a reminder of how individuals in the Wild West used their talents and skills to create their own legacies, sometimes by taking center stage in the stories that the world would remember. Let's explore one of the Wild West's most eccentric characters, Judge Roy Bean, known as the Law West of the Pecos. Judge Roy Bean was a strong-tempered, unpredictable figure who often ruled his courtroom while under the influence of alcohol. He famously claimed to have been appointed by the President of the United States, though his authority was questionable. Despite his eccentricities, he maintained control over his territory, bringing a mix of chaos and law to the Wild West. His unconventional approach to justice became a legendary part of frontier history, making him a symbol of the unpredictable nature of the West. Now, shifting gears to the hunters who ventured into the Four Peaks territory in Arizona, one of the most popular areas for hunting in the Wild West. The Four Peaks region was known for its rich wildlife and posed a significant challenge for hunters. It required immense courage and skill to navigate the rugged terrain, which was filled with dangerous predators and harsh weather. These hunters were not only skilled in tracking and hunting, but also in surviving the unforgiving conditions of the land. Their efforts were essential for providing valuable resources to settlers and contributed to the survival of many in the Wild West. Now let's explore the story of Joe Black Fox, an assumed Indian who became a star in Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. Joe Black Fox was known for his participation in battle reenactments and tribal dance performances, which showcased the traditions and customs of his people. His talent and skill captivated audiences, offering them a rare glimpse into Native American culture. Through his involvement in the show, he played an important role in preserving and sharing the history of his heritage. The Wild West show not only made Black Fox famous, but also gave him the opportunity to travel the world and experience other cultures. His participation in the show became a bridge between cultures, allowing him to learn and grow while also educating audiences about the rich traditions of Native American life. Let's now turn our attention to General George Crook, one of the most well-known military leaders of the 19th century. George Crook joined the United States Army in the year 1852 and served in several key campaigns during the American Civil War. After the war, Crook continued his military career and was assigned to lead campaigns against various Native American tribes in the West. Known for his strategic mind and effective leadership, Crook played a central role in the military's efforts to secure control over the Western territories. Although he led military actions against indigenous tribes, he also sought to negotiate peaceful resolutions and understand the complexities of their situation. Despite his attempts at diplomacy, Crook's mission was primarily to expand American control, which often led to violent clashes with Native American groups resisting encroachment. As we wrap up this journey through history, let's reflect on the moments of humanity and humor that remind us of the resilience of people, even in the darkest times. In this image, we see an American soldier clowning around for the camera, taken around the year 1863. This photograph is one of the rare moments that allows us to glimpse a lighter side of life during the Civil War, offering a stark contrast to the chaos and violence that defined this period. Even in the midst of such turmoil, moments of humor and camaraderie still existed, reminding us of the resilience and humanity that soldiers held on to. This photo serves as a powerful reminder that, even in the darkest of times, individuals found ways to maintain their spirit and sense of humor. The image provides a personal connection to the past, offering a rare glimpse into the lives of those who lived through the Civil War and showcasing the human side of history.